The Indira Gandhi Zoological Park is situated amidst the vast, undulating hilly terrain of Eastern Ghat Hill Ranges in the coastal city of Visakhapatnam. It is run by the Forest Department of Andhra Pradesh and is recognized as a large zoo by Central Zoo Authority, Government of India. The zoo park is one of the major tourist destinations in the city. It is home to about 30 species of mammals, (50 species of birds, and 10 species of reptiles. However, this zoo is also abode to one of the most fascinating predators of the Indian jungles, the dhole or the Asiatic wild dog. In India, there are 4 subspecies of Asiatic wild dogs. Among them, Cuon alpinus ducanensis is the most abundant subspecies found in peninsular India. Dholes are highly social and vicious carnivores that once ranged all across Asia. However, today their population is highly fragmented all over the historic range. Asiatic wild dogs are endangered, whose number is declining in wild mainly due to habitat destruction, fragmentation and hunting. Not many zoos in India have had success in breeding captive dholes. Even so, wild dogs have been breeding in the zoo every year since 2006. The Central Zoo Authority has selected Indira Gandhi Zoological Park for coordinated conservation breeding of dholes in captivity. The main objective of such breeding program is to maintain captive buffer populations of endangered animals and subsequently release them in their native wild habitats in future.
Indira Gandhi Zoological Park has been successful in breeding the Asiatic wild dogs since 2006. These are listed as endangered by IUCN due to rapid dwindling populations since many years. The CZA identified IGZP as a coordinating zoo for the conservation breeding of wild dogs in the country. So these dogs once ranged all over the Asia, particularly Eastern Ghats, which makes their native habitat. But now they are limited to few pockets due to many biotic interferences. But the present stock have been descended from few wild-caught parents in the past. Currently, we have 12 dholes with 5 males and 7 females belonging to 2 lineages. This includes breeding pairs, adults and yearlings. During last 2 breeding seasons, we got a litter of 5 pups in each litter, and despite the fact that there is a high mortality in dholes, 4 out of 5 pups were survived in each litter. So this year also a mating was noticed recently, and we hope a new litter may be expected in the month of December or so. So these animals, of course, they are very shy and timid. For that we are taking every precaution to minimize the stress while handling the animals. We have also procured a wild-caught male dog from Sri Venkateswara Zoological Park, Tirupati, to infuse new blood to the existing stock. We are also looking forward to start an off-display conservation breeding facility for these wild dogs with continued support from the Central Zoo Authority, Government of India.
Free-ranging wild dogs trapped in zoos' open modes were retained and reared in captivity. The spacious, near-naturalistic enclosures turned out to be suitable as the animals are breeding over the years in the zoo. The zoo's success rate in breeding these endangered canids is worth mentioning. The animals are most active during mornings, late afternoons and evenings. There are well-beaten paths in the enclosure through which wild dogs regularly move from one location to another location within the enclosure. As part of enrichment activity, the zoo authorities have constructed a den and water pool in the day kraal. The dogs are fed daily with chicken and beef. They are kept off feed for one day during the week.
Here at Indira Gandhi Zoological Park, Visakhapatnam, we have been breeding wild dogs quite successfully, which are one of the highly endangered species in wildlife in the zoos. We follow more of the prophylactic measures rather than depending on the therapeutics. So in this prophylaxis, we do mass deworming and fecal sample screening, later on mass deworming. And as a matter, every year we conduct vaccinations against the viral disease. Some of them are canine distemper, leptospirosis, panleukopenia, and all these, some of the canine diseases. And we are also planning to do anti-rabies vaccination for these. And regarding the breeding strategy, before the breeding season that starts around October, we also give special feed supplements and also the natural food, and we try to simulate the natural hunting skills of the animal by giving a whole spray of the sheep or mutton whole leg, so that it almost appears the same as a wild. So subsequently, once the babies pups come out, we also give them mass deworming and we take the periodical weight checkups, and they are also given deworming and vaccination time to time. And once they are 6 months old, they mix with the adult pack, then it becomes eventually a very happy family. Thank you.
To breed endangered animals like the wild dogs, it is essential that we understand more about their reproduction biology and behavior. In an effort to fill these gaps in knowledge about the complex social structure and breeding behavior of wild dogs, the zoo authorities have also been carrying out a research program with financial assistance from Central Zoo Authority. A biologist has been engaged for carrying out systematic observations on the wild dogs. Constructing a useful ethogram demands time spent watching animals, taking careful notes, and making sense of the observed behaviors. The basic equipment required for behavior studies include a field notes, binoculars, stopwatch, and a camera. Food begging behavior stimulated the regurgitation of meat, a behavior commonly observed in the wild among canids.
We have about 6 wild dogs here in this enclosure. The main objective of our behavior research is to construct a complete ethogram for wild dogs in captivity. And an ethogram is nothing but an inventory of all behaviors, both social and non-social, displayed by an animal species. We are actually attempting to create a first ever Indian wild dog ethogram in captivity here. We have in fact observed more than 60 different social behaviors so far in our study. In future, hopefully, we will have an off display facility where we would like to experiment with various enrichment techniques that might actually enable these animals to display some more behaviors which are usually not seen in captivity.
Subsequently, These studies help in better understanding of the behavioral and biological needs of the species under study. From our previous research, we have learned that an appropriate pack composition of captive does in zoos is critical not only for successful breeding but also for survival of pups. It is estimated that fewer than 2,500 mature individuals remain in the wild. Many areas concerning their preference of enclosures and reproductive biology, etc., are still not clearly understood as there is a dearth in research. The zoo is yet to get a nod from the Central Zoo Authority for an off-display captive breeding center for wild dogs. With continued support from Central Zoo Authority, the zoo officials plan to build a separate breeding facility in the near future. Only with a better understanding of their integral role in an ecosystem can we fully value these unique dogs. Dogs are fascinating animals, and more zoos all over the world are starting to keep this active member of the canid family. A good enclosure and a carefully composed pack that breeds will guarantee satisfaction for the animals and visitors alike.